Oh, hello, guys and gals, and welcome. I seem to have made a mess of things on my horrible, horrible system here. We have some very interesting news on the patch notes. Give me just a second, and I will try and get things fixed here. Yay! Look, there I am. Totally messed up everything, by the way. I switched from one resolution to another, and everything went out the window, my boys. Everything went out the window, as always. And so we got these patch notes just dropped, I think a little while ago, and apparently there's some exciting stuff in here, lobby updates, as well as something called the Magic Find Weekend, whatever the heck that is. So let's go over these patch notes together. Let's talk about what the changes are and figure out what that means for everybody else. And also, we have Mr. NiNi here with us. He's taking a nap. I'm not really sure whether he's going to come out, but he does Mr. NiNi's own thing. He does his own thing. All right, so let's go over these patch notes. Diablo 2 Resurrected patch notes 2.4.3. Since the timeless classic was resurrected, daring heroes have diligently decimated ranks of hell-raising demons across all 5 acts of Diablo 2 Resurrected, forever loosening the Lord of Terror's hold on Sanctuary. In patch 2.4.3, which goes live on June 29th, very interesting date, by the way, since Overwatch 2 beta goes live on June 28th. We introduce a variety of new features and improvements set to elevate multiplayer lobbies for console and PC. Accompanying these new features and quality of life improvements and bug fixes, partying up with like-minded demon slayers is a cornerstone of the Diablo experience. Because of this, we've been closely monitoring your feedback around multiplayer lobbies, and changes highlighted below are a direct result of this. Sanctuary wasn't built in a day. While we have made great strides in refining various aspects of Diablo 2 Resurrected, we are dedicated to enhancing your pursuit of the Dark Wanderer even further. As always, we want to make the flames of this beloved classic burn hotter and brighter than ever before, and invite your feedback to help aid us in this communal effort. Now make ready, Hero of Sanctuary. You will need the knowledge below to topple the demons that lie in wait. So we've got a couple things here. Backend improvements, console lobby updates, PC lobby updates, Magic Find bonus, quality of life improvements, and bug fixes. Backend improvements. One common issue among players is that their game list did not populate with enough games, even when they felt it should have. When you create a game in Diablo 2 Resurrected, it gets hosted on one of many game sites in your region. Prior to Ladder's launch, the game list would only populate with games from just one single-player game site in your region, whichever you had the best connection to. This was done to preserve a high-quality gameplay experience in any game you may join through the lobby. But we found our criteria to be overly aggressive. When Ladder launched, we expanded this to provide players games from up to 3 game sites. This helped the players see more games in their games list without a cost to connection quality, but players still weren't seeing enough games. We decided to broaden it even further in patch 2.4.3. Now, any number of game sites in your regions that you have a strong enough connection to can contribute to the results in your game list. To provide even more options for those looking to join a game, we've also doubled the maximum number of games that could appear in the game list at a given time from 20 to 40. That's really nice, actually. Plus, we've fine-tuned details to refresh in almost real time. You still must manually refresh your game list, which is something we decided to keep, so the game list would not shift while players select a game. These improvements have been applied to both the console and PC lobby experiences. Game lists. Wait a minute. What? Did you hear that? It said that these improvements have been applied to both the console and PC lobby experiences. Console never had a game list. Console never had a game list, boys. Does console finally have a game list? Console lobby updates. Following the successful launch of Ladder Season 1, the team has turned their focus to features that required the most attention. Console Party Finder was the top item on our list by a large margin. Patch 2.4.3 brings multiple improvements to the console multiplayer experience, providing a new and improved way to create and find games by replacing Party Finder with Game Creator and Game List. Three options lie before you. Game list. Yes. Selecting the play button on the menu with your selected hero will now present three options for online play. Private. Enter a private game that will not populate to the game list. The only way for others to join your game is through the friends list or by being invited. Game creator. Create a public game that will populate on the games list. Games list. View games list. Use the search feature to join a public game. We're going to have to check this out. I do have a Nintendo Switch version, by the way, so on the 29th, we'll probably boot up my Nintendo Switch copy, and we'll have a look at this and see how the console version has changed. Game creator. Oh, look, a game name. You can actually type in a game name. Look at this, boys. With the max player count, the level difference. Oh, sexy. Console players rejoice. Mr. NiNi, you gonna come out here for this? Console players rejoice. Rejoice. Rejoice, Mr. NiNi. Rejoice. Game Creator will equip you with the ability to quickly create the type of game you desire. To aid you in doing so, all previous game categories that were available in Party Finder have returned in the Game Creator. Selecting and confirming one of these game categories will generate a pre-made game name for you, accompanied by an assigned number. This is to prevent games with duplicate names from being created. Level difference, which was previously only available as a game creation option for PC players, has been added as a game creation option for console. We have also added an additional category called Custom. This category consists of two options. Public game. Create a public game to populate in the game's list with a name of your choice. Password protected game. Create a public game with a password that must be entered to join. Just like in the PC lobby, a password protected game will not appear in the games list, but can be joined through a separate Join Game button found by pressing the Search Game Name button on the Game List menu and going to the Custom category. A preview of your custom or generated game name is displayed on the top right portion of your screen. Once you are comfortable with your selections and confirm them, your journey to Sanctuary can begin. Look at that game list, boys. A nice little game list there. It even has a ping. Ours doesn't show ping, does it? Does ours show ping? I don't remember ours showing any ping. Looks like we got some filters here, too. That's pretty cool. Not bad. Not bad at all. I actually really, really like these changes so far. These are pretty sexy. Selecting the games list button will display up to 40 matching games created by other players that your selected character is able to join. To aid in finding specific games, you can use the search feature to locate a specific game or filter games displayed using keywords. Within the filtering options, you can set the following parameters. Difficulty filter to display only normal, nightmare, or hell in any combination of the three. Ping, restrict your results to only games of a particular connection quality or better. Game name, pressing the triangle button on a PlayStation controller, Y button on an Xbox controller, or X button on the Nintendo Switch controller while on the games list menu will open the search game name menu where you can search for both custom and pre-made game names using the same familiar layout you would use during the game creation. Searching for a game name using the custom category will only return game results that were created using the custom category. Searching using one of our pre-made categories will only return game results that were created using the pre-made game category. So that's kind of odd. I don't know why they would do that, but I guess they're separated out. So the pre-mades and the customs are separated in two different categories. For example, selecting the pre-made Den of Evil search option will only yield pre-made game results. Inversely, searching Den of Evil under the custom category will yield custom game names with those phrases within them. Custom game names with or without a password can be joined directly through the search game name menu. Modifying any of these filters will refresh your game list and return a new list of games up to 40 based on the criteria you selected. Players also have a refresh button available to them to manually refresh the list at any time. PC lobby updates. Sorry, that's totally something my dad would do back in the day. We want multiplayer lobbies to bridge to many hours of slaying demons, collecting loot, and memorable moments with friends. Unfortunately, many players have experienced difficulties in finding specific types of games they would like to join. To solve this, we added a search functionality in the lobby. Specific keywords or game names can now be typed in to return a list of games based on that search term. With patch 2.4.3, the game list will now display each game's connection quality in a tooltip that pops up when you hover your mouse over a specific game. Games will populate into the game list based on their connection quality, offering you expanded knowledge when deciding which game to join. We cannot stress enough how appreciated and crucial your feedback is. We're always looking for opportunities to iterate or reshape aspects of Diablo 2 Resurrected so your trip to Sanctuary continues to be memorable. Magic Find Weekend, June 30th to July 4th. Ooh, an event? We're getting events? Is that basically what this is? An event? That's what it seems like to me, an event. Magic Find bonus. You feel an intense rush of energy coursing through your veins, a faint internal humming overriding your own pulse. From June 30th to July 4th, a mysterious energy source will grant you a 50% buff to Magic Find, providing an increased chance to receive legendary magic, rare, or set unique loot as a drop from slain foes. This bonus stacks with any additional increases to Magic Find provided by your items. Okay, so 50% might not seem like a lot, okay? For those people who stack Magic Find to the utmost, like if you have a ton of Magic Find, like say you're already at like 400 or 500%, 50% is not going to do very much for you. However, for a person who runs 0, for a person who runs like 50%, for a person who only has about 100% Magic Find, a 50% buff is a huge increase for the person who basically has nothing. It's going to increase the number of legendary, magic, rare, and set and unique items by quite a large margin, because what it's going to do is it's going to increase dramatically the amount of drops that a no Magic Find character is going to get, while it will have relatively no effect on the 500% Magic Find character. Although this is a unique opportunity to perhaps build the highest Magic Find character in all the land, because you can stack this 50% on top of all your gear and just have fun with some crazy high amount of Magic Find. But for those of you who don't normally run Magic Find, or you don't normally run an entire like a lot, like maybe you only have like 50% Magic Find on you at any given point, 50% Magic Find for a character who has relatively low Magic Find is a huge bonus, and you guys would probably want to play during this time period. It's going to be a pretty big buff for anybody who doesn't normally run Magic Find. Quality of life improvements. Gameplay. Players can now start a new Whirlwind Leap or Leap attack immediately after Whirlwind ends. That's interesting. Change the logic for determining how often Whirlwind attacks occur. Whirlwind now incorporates increased attack speed from all equipment. The frames between each Whirlwind attack are equal to the attack frame of a basic attack for the character. While dual wielding, the attack frame for each weapon will be averaged rounding up. Overall, Whirlwind attacks should at least be as fast as they were before. Slower weapons will attack notably faster. Are you kidding me? Whirlwind was never affected by increased attack speed, so they have done a really big swippity-doo here, a little a schwappity-wop. Like I'm making up words here because this is kind of nuts. So they're playing around with Whirlwind and they're trying to fix it. Who knows whether they fixed it or broke it? I guess we're gonna have to find out on the 29th. That's a pretty big change for both Whirlwind Barbarians and also for Whirlwind Assassins. This could be very interesting in how this increases or decreases the usefulness of this ability. We'll have to keep our eyes on this. Added a new Loot to Cube skill for controllers in the general skills menu. Using this skill on an item will pick it up and place it in your project cube if there's a space. That's actually pretty cool because that's something, we PC users do on a regular basis. We click on an item and just drop it right in the cube, which is, it's nice for us. Added a bindable hotkey for mouse and keyboard to directly open the Herodic Cube if it's in your inventory. So that's pretty cool. So, just like pressing I would open your inventory, or just like pressing, C opens up your character panel. They put a button that basically opens directly to your cube. That's actually really cool. That actually might be really useful. I might get addicted to that. Players can now bulk assign stat points using a controller. Confirmation prompt will now appear when bulk assigning all remaining stat points on both PC and console. This option is unavailable while using the legacy graphics. So basically, you can no longer accidentally spend all your points into energy or strength or something stupid like that, or have like a sorceress with 500 dexterity, unless you speed through the confirmation. Added an auto open setting to allow players to set their preferred auto map position. Online, you can now double click on a game to join it in the PC lobby. Players on Switch can now join a friends game via the in-game friends list. Game list size has been doubled from 20 to 40. Game list details in both the details panel and the game list now load faster upon selecting a game. That's always been an issue. I hope it actually works. Friends playing D2R are now sorted to the top of the friends list. Console players now have the option in options menu to toggle game name visibility. Bug fixes. Gameplay. Fixed an issue where Deckard Cain was not able to identify items in the Herodic Cube. Now he will do so when the cube is in your main inventory. Huzzah! Cain will finally be useful again. Fixed an issue where short-distance whirlwinds could end without executing a single attack. Wow, I didn't know that was the case. Fixed an issue where whirlwind would still apply properties and damage from a broken weapon. I know that's actually a big fix, because I've actually heard of people exploiting that, specifically creating a very specific weapon, or getting a very specific weapon, breaking it, and then putting it in there, basically making sure it's in there offhand, so that they could essentially exploit that mechanic. So it looks like that's potentially gone. No more exploiting the broken weapon mechanic. Fixed an issue where the first attack of Whirlwind was treated different from the rest. When dual wielding, the first attack will choose 2 targets, just like all the other attacks. Fixed an issue where resurrect costs were inconsistent for high-level mercenaries. You mean like my 66,666 rogue mercenary? Fixed an issue where corpse skills were not auto-targeting corpses when using right-click. That's always been kind of an issue, but usually you just hold shift and you just kind of right-click around. We'll see how that works. A lot of stuff with Whirlwind. A whole lot of stuff with Whirlwind. It seems like we're going to have to do some tests on Whirlwind and see what's going on. Online, fixed an issue where you couldn't select and join lobby games on PC with a controller. Fixed an issue where players could impersonate developers by mimicking the chat font color used to display system messages. Fixed an issue where lobby figurines would disappear while whispering. Fixed an issue that would rarely prevent players from joining a private game. Fixed an issue in hardcore where both players had to mutually flag each other to be able to loot a corpse, even if the dead player had the other player flagged. That sounds like a pretty big fix. Fixed an issue where ladder rankings with 6 or more digits would begin to overlap the character name. You didn't know about shift to target bodies, Blueberry Moore? That's definitely a thing. Shift key is life in Diablo. Shift key is life. Shift key is love. Shift key is everything. If you're any kind of character, even a melee character, you better be using the shift key, because it is so amazingly... You know what? I'm making a video on the shift key. That's it. We're making a video on the shift key now, Blueberry Moore, and it's all your fault. Character select. Fixed an issue that would sometimes cause the most recently played characters to not sort to the top of the list. Fixed an issue where an offhand flail could fail to animate on the front end. Language. Fixed miscellaneous localization bugs, stability and performance. Fixed the performance issue that could occur when spamming refresh at a vendor for an extended period of time. Miscellaneous crash and stability fixes. Thank you to the community. Our team is immensely grateful for your support as we launch with all 2.4.3 content. We hope to continue to hear from all of you. If you want to learn more about Diablo 2 Resurrected, check our website here for a real-time update. Follow our official Twitter at Diablo. Very, very interesting information here. Very, very interesting information. And AgroSkate, if you've been only using the shift key for range characters, then you've been doing it wrong. You've been doing it wrong. Shift key has more uses than just that. All right, so console updates look good. They look very good. I think any console player, if you're watching right now, you're probably pretty excited about this because it does look like basically you guys have PC lobbies for console, and it is very, 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 very sexy. We also have some updates to the PC lobbies as well, which we didn't really need them, but I'm certainly excited to have them. The ability to search is something that is brand new. 40 games instead of 20 games is brand new. All of that is actually pretty exciting, and I'm super excited about that. Magic Find Weekend. I'm not necessarily excited about the Magic Find Weekend, but I am excited about events. This is the beginning of basically a Diablo event. I would like to see them doing Diablo events. I would like to see them do a Halloween event. I would like to see them do a Christmas event. I'd like to see them do, a July the 4th event, which I'm assuming is what this is. A January 1st event. I would like to see a freaking Easter event. I don't even care. Give me everything. I will take events. I don't, even if they're silly, even if I don't know, for Halloween you just like turn all the cows into pumpkins or something. It would be hilarious. There might be absolutely no change like in the game whatsoever, but just turn the cows into pumpkins and we'll just have fun with it on Halloween, and we'll go do the pumpkin cows, for like a week or something like that during a Halloween event. Or maybe turn all the cows into snowmen for Christmas. I'm just spitballing here, but events are definitely very, very interesting, and I would really like to see more and more events enter into Diablo 2 Resurrected. This is just the very beginning, the tip of the iceberg of what they could possibly do. They could have increased gold find day on like St. Patrick's Day. Like instead of magic find, it could be like 1,000% extra gold on St. Patty's Day or something like that. It could be absolutely silly. I want everyone to encourage the Diablo team to do these events. So if you guys get the chance, like on Twitter or Instagram or whatever place you follow, like the Diablo Twitter, like make it known that you would like to have planned events, like holiday events and things like that, that it would be really, really awesome if you could have something like that in Diablo 2. So we have a lot of changes on Whirlwind, which is kind of insane. And I'm not really sure if it's for the better or for the worse. We did have some changes to the Druid, which were kind of similar, where they enabled IAS and they did a bunch of things, and somehow it ended up a little bit worse, and people got really mad about it. And it's like, it's silly, but it's okay to be a little apprehensive about something like this, especially if Whirlwind is maybe your bread and butter. Maybe you absolutely love the Whirlwind Barbarian. But Whirlwind has been in a bad place for a very long time. And I do feel like it needs a little bit of a love, a little bit of a touch up. I know, for instance, Kyle, who's not here today, is usually constantly complaining about Whirlwind being broken and not viable in PvP. And they did seem to fix a couple things. Like, for instance, apparently it wasn't attacking on the first hit. Something about the way the first hit was being calculated was wrong. Adding in IAS to the Whirlwind calculation also sounds very interesting, because that makes for some very interesting Whirlwind builds, although it may potentially break some Whirlwind builds as well, so I guess we'll see. As far as those changes go, this is going to have to be a wait and see kind of a situation. I'm super glad that they added in all of the Heraldric Cube stuff, as well as the bindable button for the Heraldric Cube. That is awesome. So now you can just press a button, I don't know, probably like the H button or something, and it would just bring up the Heraldric Cube, which would be awesome. And then also they added in a loot to queue button for the controllers, which I think is really cool because it's one of the things that you can do on PC that is definitely an advantage. It's the ability to basically, go over to an item, click on it, and drop it directly into your cube, if your inventory is full. I mean, the fix right here for, a confirmation button that will now appear when bulk assigning. Confirmation buttons are like standard practices these days. And quite honestly, they should have been there for a very long time. This is a feature that honestly they should have added when Diablo 2 Resurrected launched. Do you know what another confirmation button they need to add is? The Iron Golem. They need to add a confirmation button on the Iron Golem that when you recast the Iron Golem, it basically says, are you sure you want to recast your Iron Golem? Your original Iron Golem will be killed and deleted and your item will be lost. Same thing when you're trying to summon a clay golem or any other golem while you have an iron golem currently alive. It should also provide a confirmation saying, are you sure you want to summon a clay golem? Your iron golem will be killed and your item will be lost. Because if they don't, it's just a terrible loss, especially if you make your iron golem out of something, that is very valuable. So here, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. What's up, Kyle? So they made a lot of changes to Whirlwind. You might want to check out the patch notes since you just showed up. But apparently they have changed a whole lot about Whirlwind, fixed bugs with Whirlwind, added IAS to Whirlwind. It's kind of hard to go over like all in one sitting here. I mean, let me do this. Let me bring up a notepad, because this will be an interesting way to visualize all of the changes, and we're gonna bring this up on camera so you guys can follow along, and we're gonna try and like compile down the changes to the Whirlwind ability. All right, where's my other freaking window capture? Add window capture. All right, so here's the evil notepad of horrible brightness. I apologize for those of you who don't have good eyes that don't adjust very quickly. All right, so first off, right off the bat, there's this change that says that players can now start a Whirlwind leap or leap attack immediately after Whirlwind ends. All right, so Whirlwind activates sooner. All right, so that's the first change. Whirlwind activates sooner. The second change is that Whirlwind is now affected by IAS. All right, so this is a really big change, and it is going to have a huge effect on how the characters are built. You're definitely going to have to reconfigure how your characters are going to be played. They also did a fix here. It says fixed an issue where Whirlwind was not executing an attack over short distances. So the first hit of Whirlwind fixed. And then they also said that the first hit of Whirlwind was being treated differently from the rest. So they changed the first hit of Whirlwind as well. Apparently it was being treated as a single attack, but when dual wielding, it's supposed to be treated as 2 attacks, and so they changed it from one to 2. So now it's attacking twice on the initial hit. Let's see here. They had something else in here too. The broken item thing. So they also said that they fixed the broken item bug with Whirlwind. So Whirlwind had this bug a while back. It's been there for a very long time, that basically if you had an item that was broken in your offhand, it would still apply the effects of the item despite the fact that the item was broken. So what I'm looking at here when you look at the full picture is I'm seeing a lot of fixes specifically for Whirlwind. It seems like they've given Whirlwind a complete overhaul. And I mean, even just looking at these changes is not going to reliably tell us what they did. So we're going to have to go in, we're going to have to actually take a look, and we're going to have to play around with this and see what the hell's going on with Whirlwind. This might be a resurgence of Whirlwind. We might see Whirlwind Barbarians all over the place after this, or it could fail miserably, and Whirlwind might be still just as bad as it's always been. We really won't know until we get into the game to test it. So it's interesting. Fixed an issue where resurrect costs were inconsistent for high-level mercenaries. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because some of us had some pretty special mercenaries that were locked at like 11K instead of like 50. But also, some of us had some mercenaries that were going up as high as like 70,000 gold to resurrect. So, for those people who had the higher cost mercenaries, you know, it's a good thing. But for those of us who had the low cost mercenaries locked at like 11K, we're not very happy right now. I'm assuming they're probably all going to be 50K again. Yeah, the 11K Act 5 mercenary is so great. It's so much cheaper to resurrect than the 50K ones. And honestly, you can just keep resurrecting them over and over again, and you never run out of money. Fixed an issue where the corpse kills were not auto-targeting. This has always been kind of an issue, especially for item find barbarians. I've seen item find barbarians complain about this a lot, but generally we would get around it by just simply holding the shift key and then pressing the buttons. So I mean, it usually worked out okay. You know, if as long as you did it a certain way. My light over here is spazzing out for some reason. I don't even know what's going on. Like the freaking light of the heavens is coming in from above me. The light of the heavens. So we also have the hardcore issue fix, which does seem really nice. So apparently they fixed an issue with hardcore where apparently you weren't able to loot somebody else's corpse if they had died. This is a pretty big thing. You know, if you die in hardcore, one of the easiest ways to get yourself restarted is to have somebody else loot your corpse, grab all your equipment, and then you make a new character, and then he drops all your equipment in town for you so that you can then, you know, rebuild your character, not from scratch. Well, if you hit the button to flag to loot a corpse, and then the game basically said, oh, well, you can't loot my corpse because the other guy didn't flag. You know, you flagged, but he didn't. So we're not. It wasn't a mutual flagging. All right. So we're gonna have to say no, which means then all your loot is lost. By the way, so at that point, your loot, all of the stuff on your character is essentially gone. And that's a pretty big bug fix, and I think that's probably a really good one for hardcore characters. Not that hardcore characters expect to die an awful lot, but when they do die and they have that button clicked, they certainly will expect to be able to get their equipment back. Fixed an issue where ladder rankings with 6 or more digits would begin to overlap with the character name. This seems like a rather silly one. It's just like, I guess they needed more space on the board. A lot of these are kind of odd ones. This one's kind of hilarious right here. The impersonating developers by mimicking the chat font color. If you guys are unaware, there's actually a very simple way that you can change the color of your chat inside of the main lobby. If I remember correctly, it was something along the lines of like exclamation point. Let's see here, Diablo 2 lobby chat colors. And you know, I'm gonna link it for you guys. That way, you guys can actually have some fun with it. Or if I can, just copy and paste it. Here it is, right here. I'm gonna copy and paste it. So this is how you change your color inside of the chat. Basically, what you do is you type the letter Y with the little special 2 dots over it, C, plus the number, and then you write your text. To make the YC, it's very easy. All right. This is what you do. You hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and you press the number 152. And 152 will give you the special little Y symbol. Then you type in the letter C and then the number that you want to type in, followed by your message. And I went ahead and did it on chat for you guys so you guys can see it. So that would be YC7, and YC7 is going to be a gold-colored chat. So basically what they're saying here is that one of the colors was specifically used for the developers, and it essentially allowed people to impersonate a developer, which is kind of silly. It's a little silly, but I can certainly understand why they would have removed that particular color from the display system so you can't use it. I wonder what color that was specifically on the list, because they have white, red, blue, green, gold, gray, black, gold, orange, yellow, dark green, and purple. Purple, by the way, is a colon or a semicolon, and yellow is a colon. So it actually goes 0 through 9, and then when it hits 9, it's colon and semicolon for the two others. You can also use the code in your character name to make it that color. That's interesting. There's really not a lot more to go over here. It does look like we've covered just about everything. Very interesting patch notes. A lot of fun stuff here. A lot of fun changes for console players. I'm sure you guys are super excited. A lot of interesting stuff that we need to test out. I think we're probably going to have a Whirlwind Barbarian Day, where we literally just test out the Whirlwind Barbarian and have a little bit of fun with it. It seems like faster weapons will do better now with Whirlwind than they did previously. Not exactly sure on that. But it also says here, it says overall Whirlwind attacks should at least be as fast as they were before. Slower weapons will attack notably faster. So it looks like even the slower weapons might have the leg up on the faster weapons with Whirlwind now. So who knows? Maybe the big, giant, meaty, like Hellslayer, Decapitator, Ethereal with a Zod rune in it might be an actual decent choice now that has like almost 1,000 some odd damage. Or like an Ethereal Breath of the Dying Thunder Maul or something. I mean, we're not exactly sure, but I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of testing going on soon, especially people who are really, into Whirlwind. I know Morbius has a Chaos Assassin with the and he uses Whirlwind. He's using Whirlwind like the blade shield, and having fun with the venom and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how his character develops with the Whirlwind changes as well. I think that's pretty much it, guys and gals, and I do appreciate you all coming and joining me today. If you get a chance, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I guess like 161 of you here today. Super excited about that. And as always, thanks for watching.